and welcome to another Walking Movies. Today I'm walking to go and see Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid. How do I feel about this film? Well, I don't know, because the live-action films can be very hit and miss, I think. In my experience, some of them will work really well, most of them I don't think have been that great. And The Little Mermaid, casting aside, it's a beloved film. It's a really beloved film. You know, it kicked off the Disney Renaissance, and a lot of people, especially people my age, you know, it was their first Disney film. It wasn't mine, and it's not actually a film that I have any real major fondness for. So in that regard, I'm not as sceptical about it, or you know what it will do to the legacy of the original film as some people might be. But you know, it's had a lot of controversy, and I'm seeing this now on the 27th of May, so it's been out for exactly one day. And because I frequent a lot of Disney Facebook groups, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and it's completely mixed bag. Some people adore it, some people say it's a waste of time. So I think because I don't have a lot of affection to the original film, this stuff won't bother me as much. All I want is a good, decent film, really. And the trailers have been quite good. You know, it made me want to see the film, and I think I'm seeing it more out of habit. The fact that I used to, you know, obviously have to go and see all the Disney films for the Disney podcasts, and don't need to do that as much now, but you know, I still wanted to see it, so hence this review. For those that have been living under a rock, Little Mermaid has Melissa McCarthy playing Ursula, and has Halle Bailey as Ariel, the Little Mermaid. And Halle Bailey is not somebody that I'm very familiar with. I've seen her doing press for the film, and she seems lovely, but I don't think I've seen her in anything else, so I don't really have any expectations of what she would be like in this role. Her singing seems to be amazing though, from the clips that I've seen in the trailers, so I think that's probably why she got the part. Melissa McCarthy's the worry for me. She can be unbearable, I find, in films. She's to me what Will Ferrell is to people. Like, she's a bit of a turn off in films. And the weird thing is, there are films of hers that I really enjoy, like Spy. I think Spy is a great comedy, and quite like Bridesmaids, but didn't love it as much as a lot of people. But I just find her to be, she leans too much into the gross out humour for me, so I'm not a massive fan. So that's the concern. And if we're going to talk casting, I wish they'd gone down the drag route, because although Ursula was voiced by, I think it was Pat Carroll in the original film, you know, she was originally designed to be played by Divine, who was famous for being in the John Waters films in the 80s. So there's always been that element to the character of Ursula. I wish they'd kind of stuck to that route, especially in a day and age where things like RuPaul's Drag Race are so kind of popular. But what can you do? So look, as long as she plays the role straight, then she'll probably be okay. And that's all I've got to say about this so far, because I haven't seen it. Before I go though, I did see just a few days ago Air, which was Michael J. Fox film, documentary about his life. on Apple TV, and really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was really well done. It's not it blurs real footage with dramatised footage. He narrates it, and it's fascinating and actually quite uplifting, not depressing, which is what I was kind of expecting. So there's another recommendation for you. Anyway, I've hit the subway, which means that I'm about a quarter of the way there, and I'm not going to talk to you for another quarter of the journey or longer. So I'll leave you here, and you will hear my thoughts on The Little Mermaid once the sun has gone down as well, because the sun will be out behind clouds by the time I finish seeing this film after this. Well, it's actually got a little bit colder since I left, so now I've got a scarf on. Right, when the casting of Ariel was announced, they said it wasn't done on race. I think Disney were accused of trying to make a political statement or something, and they said it was done purely based on the audition, and I believe it. Halle Bailey was phenomenal, but what about the film? Well, I think it could be my favourite live action adaptation that I've done. I came out of there just feeling happy, really happy. Yes. I forget how good the songs are in The Little Mermaid. They're just such great songs. There is a new song from Lin-Manuel Miranda, maybe two. I'm not sure if Prince Eric's song is new. I've not watched the cartoon in such a long time. I can't remember if he had a song or not, but that was one of the low points for me in the film, was Prince Eric's song, whether it was new or not. It sounded like something off a Mumford & Sons album. And other than some pretty awful CGI in the final act, the film was just amazing. I really wasn't expecting to enjoy it anywhere near as much as I did, and it's going to be really interesting because my wife and my daughter and my mother-in-law, they're all going to see it tomorrow, so I'm going to be really interested to hear their takes on the film, because especially my wife, she was a fan of the animated film, so it'll be interesting to see what she makes of it. I doubt it will be as glowing as me, but like I said before, like because I don't have this, affiliation with the film, it's different. It will hit different for me. So I think that's exactly it. Some nice people driving past. What was I saying? Yes. So, I think I will be able to enjoy it more than some people will be able to. Now, it does suffer with a lot of the same issues that a lot of the live action adaptations do, and there are things that you will miss from the animated version. For example, the whole bits with Sebastian being chased around by a chef, they're gone. They're not in the film at all. And Flounder is a much more minor character in this film than I remember him being in the cartoon. The other thing that I know people have had issues with, and I'll be honest, I was one of them as well, was the newly animated Sebastian and Scuttle and Flounder. And when you're watching the film, it completely makes sense because they're supposed to be in this world, right? So their designs are to make them look realistic. And yeah, they're not as cute or anything, but they're just as funny as they were in the cartoon. And and I think if you made them look more like they did in the cartoon, it would look stupid. So I think they made the right choice there. The song and dance numbers are great, the choreography is great. I really want to see a making of, you know, like behind the scenes documentary about it, because I mean it's not the first film to do the things that they've done in this film. You know, Aquaman did it as well, when you're in an underwater world and, you know, people's hair flies about like they are underwater. But it was great. It was really well done. I've not enjoyed, I don't think, a live action remake as much as Aladdin. And this is the problem with these films, right? Because I thought Aladdin, although I had very low expectations, I thought Aladdin was great. And I thought Lion King was awful. And yet you speak to people and most people feel it's the other way around. But for me, it did enough different from the cartoon to make it relevant. It had some great acting. Melissa McCarthy, I haven't mentioned Melissa McCarthy, but she was how I had hoped she would be. She played the role very similar, I think, to the original. And I think that was a good choice. But there wasn't a bad performance in it. I just had a lot of fun. Scores. I'm going to give it an 8. An 8 out of 10. I think if you're going to go into this film thinking it's going to, you know, can't match up to the cartoon, then you're probably going to be leaving there disappointed. I think if you're going to go in there with an open mind, I think you'll really enjoy what it got to offer. Just really, really surprising, really fun, and I'm sure this will be the first of many re-watches that I'll see of it over the years, if my wife and daughter feel the same. They didn't agree with me on Aladdin, so there's an example. But yeah, so go and see Little Mermaid. I also saw it in 3D. The 3D was actually really good, but of course it suffered from the usual problem, which was there was quite a lot of sequences in the film that were quite dimly lit, and so it suffers. You did lose some detail in it, but the actual 3D effects, I think, were actually really well done. It's the best Disney 3D that I've seen in quite a long time. So, you know, if you were thinking of seeing it in 3D, then bear that in mind, it was good. But yeah, I'm just pleased it was as good as it was, and I can't wait now to start actually reading some reviews, because as I said, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. But for me, this is definitely one of their top animated adaptations even. So yeah, so thank you for listening, watching, depending on if you are listening to the podcast or watching this on YouTube. The next film, I'm assuming, is going to be Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. It's definitely the next film I'm planning to see. Comes out next week, so looking forward to that. So until next time, thank you, and Flynn lives.